Good evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Kyle Clark. 2 days, 2 small plane crashes.
2 people were killed in the crash today in Steamboat Springs. The plane went down this afternoon between 2 mobile homes, and somehow everyone on the ground was okay.
Well, I heard a plane. I thought it was just normal plane flying in, and then I heard like a whistling, like going fast down, and then I hear like a boom.
A quiet Monday afternoon in Steamboat Springs took a turn when a twin-engine Cessna crashed into the West Acres mobile home park. It was scary for neighbors like Cesar Carrillo.
I heard the explosion, and I just dropped everything and ran out the house.
The Routt County coroner reports 2 people on board, a man and a woman, died in the crash. The plane took off from Longmont and was headed to Ogden, Utah when it crashed.
Very, very scary here. A lot of smoke. A lot of people in the neighborhood came out and they were really watching what was going on.
Shannon Lukens with Steamboat Radio News was one of the reporters on the scene. She watched as all 10 Steamboat firefighters on duty, plus many off-duty first responders, arrived on scene. The fire from the crash burned 2 homes, plus a number of sheds and garages. The city says everyone in the mobile home park is accounted for.
Landing in the middle of a trailer park in a community, in a neighborhood, is very, very scary.
The NTSB and FAA are looking into the crash. Our aviation expert says if there was an engine problem, the hot temperature at the high altitude would also be a factor.
We're getting a new view of a small plane before it crashed in Douglas County over the weekend. 9 News investigators obtained this video showing the plane nearly coming down on I-25 near Larkspur yesterday. That plane ended up crashing into a grassy area just off the highway.
Tango Charlie, there's an emergency aircraft at about 11 o'clock.
FAA says the pilot was seriously injured. Passenger had minor injuries. We don't know what caused that plane to go down. We do know that an identical plane registered to the same company made an emergency landing on Fox Hollow Golf Course in Jefferson County 2 years ago. Both planes are registered to Marsh Equipment out of Aurora, Oregon. Reached out to that company today, weren't able to get a hold of anybody. A pickup truck crashed into the Rocky Mountain Regional Airport property this morning, damaging 2 small planes. Colorado State Patrol says a 47-year-old driver had some kind of a medical emergency before crashing through a fence on the north side of the airport this morning. The planes that were hit were empty. That driver was hospitalized, not because of the crash, but because of the underlying medical issue. No one else was hurt. The semi-truck driver arrested in the deadly crash on Highway 285 was in this country without proper documentation.
Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement says he returned to Mexico at least 16 times. 9 News reporter Kelly Rinke is here. And Kelly, it started in 2002 with an arrest in Oregon.
We found federal court documents which show Ignacio Cruz Mendoza was arrested for a low-level drug crime. Punishment was 10 days in jail. Now he's behind bars in Colorado for vehicular homicide. A driver of a semi-truck may have been going too fast when he lost control on Highway 285. Law enforcement is familiar with this man, Ignacio Cruz Mendoza. Federal officials say he had been deported or left the U.S. voluntarily 16 times over the last 22 years. It began in 2002 when Cruz Mendoza was arrested in Oregon. 9 News Investigates learned it was a low-level drug trafficking charge, 10 days in jail, 18 months probation. Federal records show some of his immigration history. Cruz Mendoza was deported on September 10, 2004. He re-entered the U.S. without proper authorization 10 days later. Other than the drug trafficking charge, ICE is not aware of any other local criminal charges on his record. In Colorado, State Patrol says he was driving a big rig without a commercial driver's license. The crash killed the 64-year-old man and seriously hurt another person. Cruz Mendoza is being held on a $50,000 cash and surety bond, which means he can't go to a bondsman and post bail. ICE has asked Jefferson County to tell them if he is released from custody, he would then stay in ICE custody pending immigration proceedings. Kelly Rinke, 9 News.
A man was seriously hurt while skiing the Skywalker Koala in South Arapahoe Peak, west of Netherland. The Boulder County Sheriff says he was skiing down the chute yesterday when he fell more than 1,000 feet before coming to a stop at a rock ledge. 2 off-duty firefighters saw the fall. They called for help and then hiked down to give first aid. A helicopter eventually lifted the skier out. He was taken to the hospital.
Our June is off to just a scorching start here in Denver. Hottest day of the year so far in the city. DIA recorded 99 degrees, 1 degree shy of the record. And this, Kathy, after a morning that we started off in the 50s, like it was cool this morning.
I think we were also hopeful when that cool layer of fog was out there and the moisture levels were up that maybe we were going to see a shift in this hot, dry weather pattern that we've seen for the past week or so. But instead, it really flipped the other direction as winds increased out of the south. The winds are coming down just a little bit, and the sunset tonight was kind of pretty out there, but a little bit of smoke and haze. Our air quality not great right now. An ozone action day, 99 in Denver. That is above the average of 84 and just missing that record by 1 degree. 104 in Lamar, 100 in Pueblo, 90 in Greeley, and 96 today in Grand Junction. Winds still pretty good, coming in at a good clip out of the west and southwest, but not to the extent we saw earlier today. So red flag warnings have been scaled back to the western slope and southwestern Colorado. Denver no longer under the red flag warning, but remains under an ozone alert for poor air quality. And looking at kind of the radar, not a lot of moisture with the exception of northwest Colorado. It's been all about the wind today ahead of a front. Thankfully, the severe weather threat is well east of our area, but we'll keep an eye on the extreme northeastern corner during the overnight hours as that front approaches. Temperatures are still very warm. We'll drop into the 70s coming up here in just a few hours. It's a windy, warm night, a whole lot cooler tomorrow, and then storms return midweek. I'll have the timing of all of this coming up.
Tonight, the Interlochen fire burning in Lake County is 86% contained. The fires burned about 731 acres, just over 1 square mile. It's southwest of Leadville near Twin Lakes. Nearly 200 firefighters are working to contain this fire. It was started by an abandoned campfire last week. The Bear Creek fire burning in Douglas County is now fully contained. U.S. Forest Service says lightning started it yesterday. It was 14 miles northwest of Castle Rock near Platte Canyon Reservoir. Just a small fire, burned 3 acres before firefighters got it under control. And in Colorado Springs, 2 grass fires that shut down a major road for several hours today are now contained. One was near the Valley High Golf Course. Of course, it wasn't damaged. The other fire broke out along Powers Boulevard between Bradley Road and Grinnell Boulevard. Both those fires are under investigation.
Out west, a number of fires are causing concern in California. Take a look at this video from Los Angeles County, where the Post fire has burned more than 15,000 acres. That's about 23 square miles. More than 1,000 firefighters are on scene, with more on the way. The fire started Saturday. It's just 8% contained tonight. House fire in Commerce City sent 2 people to the hospital. Happened on a home on Kearney Street, just about near 62nd, about 1:30 this afternoon. Firefighters rescued 2 people who were trapped in the basement. We don't know the extent of their injuries. It's also not clear what started that fire. Denver is making some changes because some neighborhoods have just too many pot shops.
Tonight, we're shining a light on the importance of a health screening, helping to save lives, one test at a time.
And Kathy Saban will join us again for a look at the windy, warm week ahead.
This next story is about the power of a conversation. One conversation in particular that involves a colleague here at 9 News.
At the end of it, we hope it'll spur another conversation, perhaps in your own home. 9 News reporter Chris Vanderveen shows us it starts with a cancer diagnosis.
It's a good place. It's a good place.
Of all the words in the English language,
If I would come here every 2 weeks for my treatment,
few inspire more fear than the one that first brought
and it was part of my routine for 6 months.
David Levine here.
So it's simultaneously the scariest place and the best place. Hi, Lexi. Good, how are you?
6 letters, 2 syllables.
We're here to see Patrick.
Word that says more.
Come on back this way.
More than any novel you've ever read.
And it's very dark and very scary. There's nobody that can help you through it, really. Those moments of knowing you have cancer and not knowing how far it has spread was the worst time of my life.
There's so much uncertainty at that point.
Yep, and the first reaction was just the, oh my God, I have cancer. Like, it was a real awakening moment.
Were it not for the first colonoscopy of his life, David might have missed this chance to thank Dr. Patrick Hewlett.
I felt like I was really in good hands, the whole way through.
Done when he turned 45, the screening found a growth so concerning, the doctor who first spotted it knew exactly what it was.
It was stage 3B.
3B. It had spread to his lymph nodes and was well on its way to killing him. With the help of surgery and multiple rounds of chemotherapy,
And we didn't see any areas that were lighting up.
Dr. Hewlett and others removed it.
There's no residual activity.
Now is probably the time to tell you David Levine is a colleague of mine here at 9 News. Inside this building, he's our creative director in our marketing department. Outside of it, he's a dad of 2.
It's like a gut punch.
Yeah, and immediately I've got 7-year-old twin boys, so that's immediately where my mind went. The darkest immediate thoughts were not being there for them.
This is how David told me via text. Later, we went on to talk about another word far too many of us have come to fear as well.
The fact that I went and got a colonoscopy when I was 45 saved my life, without a doubt.
Never did I imagine then that one day that conversation would become a chapter in my story as well.
Your doctor told you had a precancerous polyp that was developing, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super weird.
Yeah.
As David was undergoing chemotherapy, cells were growing inside my large intestine. I didn't know it. I had 0 symptoms. The only reason I know of it now is that earlier this year, Dr. Jonathan Fishman,
this over here is a polyp,
removed it during my first colonoscopy.
How close do you think I was based upon what you've seen?
probably a year or less. I mean, that was a big polyp with high-grade dysplasia. Precancer changes had set in.
Was it weird when I told you, like, hey, I think you might have helped save my life?
No, it just makes me feel good, and that's the whole reason about talking about it now, because there may be somebody out there who is not going to hear from their doctor, but they may see the story and get pushed over to the edge and do it, right?
I remember the doctor saying, when I got out of my colonoscopy, you're really lucky. That's what I got. And it was a conversation that we had that led me there.
Yeah.
His words, that conversation, I'll never forget. Colonoscopies aren't that bad, and trust me, cancer is far worse.
I mean, Chris, I almost died. It's the way I look back at it.
Doctors like Hewlett and Fishman say the conversations need to continue, especially now.
Over the last 20 years, we've seen almost a doubling of young people diagnosed with colon and rectal cancer.
They say it's not entirely clear why, but that is why the American Cancer Society says 45 is the time to lose your fear of the word colonoscopy. Had I waited any longer, sometime next year, I'd likely have cancer. Had David waited any longer, sometime this year, fear would have been the least of his concerns.
The other side of the story is not pretty. I mean, I die an early death. I die at 45. And we were very close to that.
Well, we want to thank David for being so open and honest with his story, because we know a lot of other families get similar news every single year. The good news is that colonoscopies aren't just screening tools.
Certainly. Like in Chris's case, they were able to act right there while they're doing the cancer screening to remove the polyp that could have grown into cancer in the future. And again, it starts with those conversations. And it starts with people telling other people colonoscopies are not that bad. The prep's not that bad. You're never even going to remember the procedure.
Those are the conversations that you usually don't often bring up, but you should. What's the big deal?
Yep, just tell somebody it's worth it. Just get in there, get checked
Hey,
out.
I took a day off. I want to
Yep.
get a colonoscopy. That's
Yep.
why. Okay.